All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on What the Sheet. And in today's episode, we are going to be reviewing, or kind of my initial review of this Skil 12 volt cutter. And I don't remember exactly what I paid for this. I'll throw a link and a quick price on the bottom of the screen here for you. But I think it was only like 50 or 60 bucks just for the tool. And then I did buy another 2 amp 12 volt battery that has the USB charging on it. And the main reason I bought this is for cutting up cardboard boxes. In today's world, everybody buys pretty much everything online, and so it comes in a box, and then at some point you should at least be recycled or trying to recycle it, or even if you're using it for, let's say, you have a fire pit or something like that at your house, it's just nice to be able to break the boxes down so you're not trying to rip that or cut that with a knife or some other tool. So I bought this, seeing as I'm already in the Skil line, and I think they're the only ones that have a dedicated cutter tool. I know there's some other similar kind of tools out there that aren't made by Skil, and they work kind of the same. But the general idea is this wheel here spins. I believe it spins in towards the mechanism. Yeah, so it spins this way. So then as you're pushing your material in through here, the metal part will just kind of pinch it and it just slices it. And then this one also has a self-sharpening function. So this little piece of metal right here sharpens the teeth or the edge of the blade. So as you're cutting, it's constantly keeping it sharp. So no matter how much material you put through there, it'll keep the blade nice and sharp for you. And I'll try and look on Amazon and see how much replacement blades are. And like I said before, I'll put the price down there, and I'll also throw a link for everything in the description. But this thing works awesome. The one complaint that I have about this for right now is the safety button. So it is ambidextrous, which means you could push it from either side to unlock it, but it's not very, I guess, intuitive. I mean, it works okay with your right hand or with your thumb to do it this way, but at the same time, it's, I don't know, it'd be nice if there was a button maybe on the top here, or like some tools where it has a double kind of safety on the bottom. This one has a safety here. So without that, you can't squeeze the trigger, but all you gotta do is just pull that back, and then you can squeeze the trigger. I think if Skil did something like that on this tool, that'd make this a lot more comfortable, because then all you're doing is basically using either your ring finger or your middle finger. You're flipping that lever back, and then you can squeeze the trigger versus trying to push it either with your pointer finger on the one side or your thumb and then run it through, because your hand position is just, it's not comfortable. I'd rather either hold it like this, with kind of just my fingers like that, or full on barrel grip it like you would like a drill, and then run it through. Or like I said, if the safety mechanism was on top, or even like a slide switch like you would for a grinder was up here, that would make this much more comfortable, because then I could just turn it on, go through my material, and then we're good to go, versus this kind of janky button. And then the other thing is, this thing takes a while to get started. You can't really feather the trigger. It's either on or off. So as you can see, safety, then there's no variable speed. It's on or off. There's nothing in between. And you can't really feather it either. So, I mean, if you're trying to do any kind of delicate cutting, like if you're trying to cut, like for example, like this rubber floor mat, and you're trying to do, a nice detail work with it, probably not the best tool. With that, I'd probably just say go with a blade. But if you're breaking stuff down to fit in your garbage or your recycling bins, or if you just want to get rid of something, or if you're doing like leather work and you're using thinner material, I would imagine this would work pretty good with leather. I don't have any scrap leather or anything like that, fabric, that I could use for testing purposes, but I would imagine this would work just fine. It's got plenty of power to cut through materials. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'll set the camera up on the workbench here, and I'll show you how it does cutting through this old doormat that's about a good 1/4, 3/8 inch thick, thick rubber, and then how fast I can break down these cardboard boxes without having to use a knife or a small saw or something like that. So I'll be right back. All right, so got our floor mat here. Got the tool. I'm going to use my left hand to cut it, and we're just going to go kind of across this way and just cut a strip out. See how it does. I've never actually cut anything thick with this before. The only things I've kind of done some test cuts with was just cardboard. So I'll be interested to see how well it cuts on this floor mat. So here we go. Doesn't do too bad. Getting it started is kind of a pain in the butt that I've noticed, even with doing cardboard. But once you get it started, it seems to cut pretty well. So it cuts the rubber no problem, which is nice if you want to get rid of, like I said, an old floor mat like that, or if you're using that to cut out a piece for a specific area. Not so bad. So we'll move on to the cardboard box here. So as you can see, got a giant cardboard box that's not going to be very easy to get into my recycling bin, even if I fold it up. So this is the main reason I bought this, was just to get rid of all the cardboard that I have laying around the house. And this works awesome for cardboard. So I'll show you kind of what I'm doing. So I'm just going to split this box open so it's one big flat piece. And just a little bit of force, pushing it forward, and it'll cut everything, cardboard like it's nothing. And then, you get a nice big flat panel of cardboard here, but for me, I'd rather have smaller strips. So what I'm going to do is I'll cut this down along the seams here. Now by cutting it like that, now I have these 3 smaller chunks that I can easily stuff into my recycling bin, and I can turn this whole box into a small little stack of cardboard that's maybe an inch thick or so, versus this giant, big, unmanageable piece. And it doesn't take that long. Like, I can break down all the cardboard in my whole garage within a few minutes, and instead of having to slowly get rid of all my recycling, every couple weeks, I can break down all my cardboard and get it all out of here within 1 week, and it's nice and efficient and saves space in my garage and just gets the garbage out of here when I don't want it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Overall, I'd say it's a good tool. It's definitely not something you're going to use every day, but if you're, let's say you work a job and you got to break down cardboard boxes, or you got to deal with cardboard and stuff like that, this would probably be a good tool to buy. And then just get a couple of these, either the 2 amp hour batteries or 4 amp hour batteries. I have noticed if I put the 4 amp hour battery on this, I do get a little bit more power out of this guy. So if you're going to use this on a more regular basis, or on more kind of demanding jobs, let's say for instance that rubber mat, if you're cutting rubber mats a lot with something like this, or flooring, like vinyl, I bet you this would work really good on vinyl flooring. I would say get the 4 amp hour batteries from Skil. That way you get that extra power and the runtime as well. But other than that, this thing works pretty well. I definitely recommend it. Like I said, if you have a bunch of cardboard in your house, and if you have, if you buy a lot of stuff from Amazon or anywhere else, and you get all that cardboard laying around, you don't really know what to do with it, versus trying to rip it up or cut it up and fold it and stuff to get rid of it. makes things a lot more efficient in your garbage and recycling, and allows you to get rid of a lot of extra waste in your house pretty quickly. But, oh, I was going to show you one more thing. So, for next week's video, a little bit of a sneak peek, I've got this guy. So this is from Recon Tools, their M1. That's all I'm going to show you for this week. But next week, I'll have a video on that, kind of explaining what it is, what it does, and I'll make sure to get a cost on that, because the cost is a little bit different than what I paid for it, I do believe. But that's all I got for you guys this week, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.